have some good time for fellowship. So afterwards, but it's going to be a combining of two things. One is going to be kind of on prayer, and the other is going to be kind of on I know the weather's starting to get warmer and stuff of that nature. So just kind of on a little bit of evangelism and things of that nature. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So I don't know. I was one day I was just kind of thinking upon this, and I don't know. It just kind of come to my mind. Thought that just I don't know. It just kind of struck me. I mean, I know that in some ways we need to stay out of a political area in the church and things of that nature, but I would say that for the majority, a lot of people were pleased with the way the election went. But it kind of made me think of a thought. Back when he, before the election, I know that there was times I was very frustrated and praying and things of that nature, and just kind of disgusted with the direction that the nation was going, and the sinfulness and the wickedness and things of that nature. And the election to me went in a great way, but it kind of made me think. Um, as well, I guess I'll flip there. As it says here, let me see. So see, there we go. Flip it there, and then I'll flip back here. Okay, that should get me to where I need. Yeah, this gets me where I need. It brought me to the scripture. First Thessalonians. Let me just make sure I get it right here. 5:17. Pray without ceasing. And it kind of made me think: am I really praying without ceasing, or am I just? Did I get so content in the election and the direction? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things that I am pleased with, the direction that they flipped it. With certain things, with morality and things of that nature in that direction. I'm thankful for that. But there is a lot of things that we still need to be praying for our nation. That the Lord would continue to drive the direction towards Him and towards His word and His ways. And I think sometimes when things go our way, we get stagnant and happy in that moment, and we forget to continually pray without ceasing. And I'm kind of like, maybe that's what I did. Maybe that's what I was doing. I forget, or maybe it's just one area of my life I forget to pray for the government. Because I'm kind of pleased with the direction they're going, or what has at least been stated. Because there's, like I said, there's plenty of other things. So, but with that direction, you also have the other people who are coming back to counter that, and we need to be praying for that as well. And then also, when you're trying to do what's right for either morality or for the nation itself, it's going to bring controversy. We need to be praying for that as well, but for just the other nations that would be involved in those things. It's just, to me, it's just, I guess we need to really think about that, and just continually be praying for our nation and praying for the morality, that it would continue to go in the direction that the Bible states is to be the way it should be. And in those things, just in that, I just, I think that, I don't know, I guess that's just kind of how I see it. And another thought that just kind of come to me, where I've been off work, it's given me more leisure time. So I come across a video. This person was not really speaking in a great way, in a biblical way, but I kind of twisted it and said, okay, well, you can throw that in there, but at the end of it, you can do that, and it makes it biblical. So he was stating that in his life, as he grew up, I don't know where he come up with it. He didn't really say, but he basically said when he wakes up in the morning, he just takes 30 minutes in the morning to reflect upon his day and the tasks that he has, and just kind of meditates on that in silence or whatever, and just thinks about what he has to do for the day. And then it kind of come across me. I was thinking, okay, that's not a bad idea. Reflect upon the task that I have before me at hand. And then I was like, okay, well, when you do that, just reflect upon it, and then at the end of it, pray about it. Say, Lord, I just went through my task of what I have to do throughout my day. And Lord, you know what you need me to do. You know what I need to do. So, just help me in that. And, for a couple of weeks, I actually did that, and it really helped. Unfortunately, I guess it's like a lot of other things. Sometimes when we do that and we see progress, we sometimes, I don't know if it's just humanness or whatever, but we seem to forget to do that. And we just get so, but I mean, I just think it's a great way to allow us to draw closer to the Lord, and then also grow spiritually and kind of have interaction with Him in prayer. I mean, that's really one of the greatest ways that we can interact with Him is through prayer. I mean, Scripture is one, but also in prayer. I think that's one of the vital things that we as Christians can do is in our own personal life, and helping us with the things that are going on in our own lives, and then also in the things that we see around us. There's some things that when we see somebody doing something, there's in some ways there's not a whole lot we can do as a single individual, but through prayer there's a lot that the Lord can work through that to either change the way the situation is going in that person's life to help you, or B, the Lord changes you in the way you perceive it, and it helps not affect your walk, and also could help in a sense, whether you get an ability to present the gospel because maybe the way the Lord worked in that situation, or B, just because of the way you're living your life in that situation, that person who normally gets this reaction gets this reaction. So it gives him a different view of how a Christian is supposed to act in that situation. So I just think that sometimes we need to work in those things. Well, I guess that's as far as prayer. I'll probably touch back on it here in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and swing into just evangelism. As I was thinking about this, I was thinking, okay, when was the last time I actually had a biblical conversation with someone I either A, thought was lost, or B, was lost? And I'm like, okay, maybe it's been sooner, but I would say there may have been one conversation in the last 3 months. And to me, I'm like, that just sounds weak. You know, to me, because at one point I was like, I was praying for daily ability to have at least one a day, and that's kind of went out the window. I don't really pray for that anymore. I'm not saying it always happened, but I just think that we should be praying every day that the Lord would give us at least one conversation, with the lost. Whether we know it or not, that's really not really the matter. It's just the fact that and just the ability to share the gospel with people. So, I don't know. Maybe your spiritual walk's better, and if it is, great, and continue to press on and continue to do those things. And sometimes I guess in sharing the gospel or whatever, it may depend on how we see things, or maybe just within ourselves that we're backwards and shy and don't really want to speak to people, or maybe we don't think we know the gospel well enough to present it, or But there are helps out there. I'm not saying that some of the helps out there, you would believe everything they would state. I know there's people I watch. I don't agree. Probably if I was to get into their belief system as far as the scriptures go, I would say I would differ on things. But I know I have watched Ray Comfort videos in the past. And in a lot of ways, to he can help you find ways to present the gospel, to help you get out of your comfort zone, or teach you how to, because one of his is basically it's prayer. You're praying, because according to him, he's a very, I think the word is introvert. He doesn't like to be around people. He doesn't like to speak, and it's very discomforting for him to be in the platform that the Lord has put him in. But he knows the Lord has put him there. So sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone in order to get the gospel out there. If we stay in our comfort zone, we're if we're born again, we're saved. We're saved, but as far as the Lord being able to use us, we're not going to be much use. And, we may have a humdrum Christian spiritual walk if we do that, in some ways. And I guess, ways to share the gospel. I would say that in some ways, we might want to grow in our spiritual walk, or the ability to evangelize before we may go evangelize. But there is something another man once said. There's nothing wrong if somebody asks you a question and say, I don't know, but I can, if you got a phone, you can say, well, I can give you my number, or you can give me your number, and when I get the answer, I can give you a call back, or just say I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. It's better to say that than it is to come up with something that you don't have an answer for, because later on you've either led them in the wrong direction, or they come to find out that you were wrong, and it hinders that either relationship or that person's life, and you're held accountable for that if you are to do that. So but there are ways. You can just hand out a gospel tract. You can just say, you can invite people to church through the just have your tract. Say, here's the gospel tract. I'd like to invite you to church. The information's on the back. And you may not say much else. And I don't know. I mean, I guess you could differ there. If there's an ability to share the gospel and you feel well enough to do that, then great. But if not, work on that, and then grow yourself in that. And I guess if you don't feel comfortable enough to share the gospel with them, and you're handing them a gospel tract, just say, I don't feel comfortable enough to do that, so I can give you somebody's number who can. There's nothing wrong with that. Just, it's about growing. It's about growth, and just different ways to do that. I just think that we need to ultimately be out there sharing the gospel with people. And I know the Lord is the one who saves. We could be the greatest evangelists that the 21st century's ever known. Not that I am. I'm not stating that at all. But but if the Lord's not working in that situation, that person's going to be dead, just as dead as when we were talking to them. They're not going to. There's no spiritual work there. I think as another man who was stating that they went out and hand out gospel tracts, and they would hand them out, and he was looking for specific people. He would hand his tracts out, but there were certain people that would actually kind of acknowledge him, and that would give him an ability to know that this is a divine moment. This is a divine moment with the Lord. Not that the other ones weren't. Maybe there's something that the Lord does with that tract later in that person's life, and great. But I think we need to just look for divine moments and appointments to share the gospel. And just let the Lord lead in that. So, and then, I would say that more than likely everybody in this room is able to get up and move around, but I was stating that, and well, maybe there's occasions that you can't go share the gospel if, say, if the church was to have an event. Previous church I was at, there was times that we had a structured time on Saturday that we would go. There was some that I wasn't able because, Toyota has their production set up so that every other Saturday is a potential production. So some of those were production. Well, I was able to pray. I could pray for the situation. So ultimately, even if you can't go, you're always. I would say that more than likely you're able to pray for individuals that will go. So that's also another way that you can help with evangelism. You can help with those who do go, and or even pray for your brothers that that they may have the opportunities for to share the gospel throughout their week as well. Just interaction there. I just think that would be uh, a great way to share the gospel. So I am going to read one quote that out of this book by Warren Wiersbe. It's classical prayers or sermons on prayer. It was just one that kind of come to me, I guess, but I gotta have my indicator pencil. I can't do nothing without it. So, but I'll go ahead and read that now. It says, this goes back to prayer. Grace for imperfect prayers. It says, if in prayer I come before a throne of grace, then the faults of my prayer will be overlooked. In beginning to pray, dear friends, you feel as if you do not pray. The groanings of your spirit when you rise from your knees are such that you think there is nothing in them. What a blotted, blurred, smeared prayer is it? Never mind. You have not come to the throne of justice. Otherwise, when God perceived the fault in the prayer, he would spurn it. Your broken words, your grasping, and your stumblings are before a throne of grace. Our condescending king does not maintain a startling etiquette in his court like that which has been observed in princes among men, where a little mistake or a flaw would secure the penalties being dismissed with disgrace. Oh no, the faultly cries of his children are not surveilled, criticized by him. The Lord High Chamberlain of the palace above, our Lord Jesus Christ, takes care to alter and amend every prayer before he proceeds it, and he makes the prayer perfect with his perfections and prevalent with his own merits. God looks upon the prayer as presented through Christ and forgives all its own inherent faultness. How this ought to encourage any of us who feel ourselves to be feeble, wandering, and unskillful in prayer. If you cannot plead with God as sometimes you did in years gone by, if you feel as if somehow or other you had grown rusty in the work of supplication, never give up, but come still, yes, and come often. For it is not a throne of service criticism, but to a throne of grace you come. So to me, that shows that we need to come to the throne of grace. As he was stating there, it's not like the judicial system in the, even if you were in the court system in the United States of America, when you're on the throne, your one little word may, because whether it's because the lawyer's dirty and wants to flip it just to make it work for his benefit in his process in his case, that's not the way the Lord's throne is. He's not looking for that one imperfected word and say, because of that word, that whole prayer is just worthless. As he was stating there, without Christ, our prayers are nothing anyway. I don't know. Some of y'all may believe differently. I don't believe the Lord hears the prayers of an unsaved person, except for the prayer of calling out for salvation. But with that, I think that should encourage us to go to the throne. Now, we shouldn't disrespect who we're going to. We should remember who we're going to, but we should cast our cares upon Him, for He cares for us. And it shouldn't discourage us because maybe we feel a little bit weak in our prayer life, or just the words that we could come up with. Because I think the Lord understands, and He knows us better than we know ourselves. So I think we should definitely just go to prayer. And if we're weak in prayer and rusty, I think, as he was stating, I think we need to go more often. So, but I guess that's all I have. So I guess we will pray and end. And okay. I'll let Brother Philip have it. All right.